What's up?
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let 'em burn it out. Sell 'em to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To play.
What's up, Loser?
Haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Working on it. Oh, shit. I think I left Facebook on, didn't I? So let's just do this. It'll be demonetized, but whatever. I still got to share it, though. How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we're here. I'm late. They fucking people are mad at me. They're not showing up. I don't care. I don't care, bird. Go to hell. Oh, fucking Gary, dude. Gary from high school. I don't care, bird. Go to hell. Gary the Canadian. Let's play I know you guys don't even know that fucking story. It's fine. Let's do some intro music. You want to?
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Live from New York, live from the office. Thank you, guys. If you want to support the show, you want to help pay for that office, you can do that at the link that pops up in the chat all the time, okay? Starts with just quick tools. You can also use the built-in features of Twitch and or YouTube. But if you don't do bits or super chats or super stickers, there's PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, and Dono Clip. If you want to support the show, if you like it, if you want to keep it going, that's how I pay the rent here at the office. So, I went and looked at a house today, that was for sale, but I don't. The house is nice. It's like a double wide, and it's brand new. The location is excellent. It's right near my kids' school. Both my kids' school, honestly, like within a block of both my kids' school. They could walk to school. We could see them, through the day if we just looked down there. The location was awesome. But it's on such a small lot, dude. First of all, the driveway's steep. Half the lot is like the driveway. It's steep. So when you're like going up the driveway, you can't see nothing but air. When you first turn down the driveway, you can't see nothing but air. You can't see the fucking driveway. But whatever. I could get over that. But then I was sitting here thinking about this place. And the more I thought about it, is like, I have tools and projects. And one thing I want to do if we get a house is I want to be able to get rid of my storage unit and my office and hopefully do the stream still, but from my new home, if that's feasible. But I would like to take that money that I spend on storage, 2 storage units and an office, and roll that into my mortgage payment, right? Because why pay extra? You know what I mean? Why pay money on an office when I have a house? I understand why I'm doing it now. It's because I live in a fucking camper. But the stream wouldn't fit. There's basically no way. It was just too small. And then I was sitting there thinking about, is there some way that I could get a fucking like a shed on this property? And I honestly don't think there is. Then I got to thinking, like, not only could I never have like a project, right? Couldn't have my tools, couldn't have a place to work, could never have any type of project. Like if I was working on a car or motorcycle or some shit like I like to do, right? I could never have a project there because there's nowhere to fucking put it. I don't even know where a motherfucker would put the lawnmower. Like, you have to mow your yard, right? Where the fuck would you put the lawnmower? Just under a fucking tarp? Like, there's just no room. I mean, the house is nice. There's just no room, dude. Hold on, I'll show you the pictures. So, basically like right off this edge, that's the property line right off this edge. So you have like this little bit of room. This is like your front yard, right? This is like the view in the driveway. This is basically all unusable because it's so steep. There's another, it almost looks like a trailer park. There's 3 trailers on this lot, like 3 double wides. They're all exactly the same, just different colors. One's gray, one brown, one green. So I'm assuming if you look over above my head, like this is my little, let's call this the backyard, right? This little spot. I'm assuming they have the same thing. They have just enough backyard to cover their heat pump. And then the rest of this area over here is my front yard, right? So, and then on their other side, they would have a bigger front yard. And on the third place's other side, they'd have a bigger front yard, right? You have a little bit in the back, like let's say 3 feet. And in the front, maybe you have 8 or 10 feet, right? But like, I don't know. I don't think there's no place to, like at minimum, I need one of those like sheds that you buy like the lots or whatever to put like tools, a lawnmower, a weed eater, my chainsaw, shit like that I might need for this. Fucking saws and shit. Like at minimum, I need maybe a 10 by 10 shed. I honestly would like to have a place in the garage if we can figure out how to afford it. Especially if I get a garage like we had at like the last house we had at Crosswhite Lane. That would be nice. But at minimum, I'd have to have a shed. I'm not putting a lawnmower under a tarp so I can mow. I don't know. This is the layout of it. 2 smallish bedrooms and their bathroom. Living room and kitchen together. Washer and dryer goes right here, kind of above my head. That has an optional door, which was in place, into the master bath. Master bath into that's the main bedroom. And then it has a double closet there in the main primary bedroom. It's not bad, especially for us. Like a lot of people would see it and be like, "Oh, it's so tiny." But we've been living in like a 300 square foot fucking a 300 square foot camper. Okay, so what you guys might see and think, "Oh man, that's so tiny," is going to feel like a fucking mansion to us. I wish it had real sheetrock. It's just cheap, right? When you get these wall panels with these like panel covers instead of actual sheetrock, it's a lot cheaper package to be able to afford. But it's enough. I mean, I like the kitchen. The kitchen's laid out nice. Yeah, the property kind of sucks, dude. There's like out the side door, not the end door, but the door on the side. There's the next property. So I would imagine their property line just gives them enough to cover their heat pump, and the rest of that's mine. And then behind me, I have just enough to cover my heat pump. And they would have a bigger front yard because the corner of this driveway goes, if the lot is set up the way the paperwork shows, the corner of this driveway is basically the edge of my land, and they're perfect rectangles. 50 by 150, I think, is what they are. All 3 lots. And there's 3 on this property. See all 3 of these? What they should have done, and I would probably be a buyer at this point, just put 2 of them there. Like, I understand, squeeze every fucking penny you can get out of a deal and make money hand over fist. If they would have just put 2 of them here, I would have probably, and the rest, the land would have been split between, the 2 and not had this third one, split it right down the middle, and that's both of our front yards with a fence or some shit. I probably would have put in an offer today. But that's tight, dude. I was also thinking, is there a way that I can go to this? Let me get back around to the pictures. There's a bank behind the, that's what my buddy Jeremy said. He said, see where my head is? He said, put the shed right here. And then they have a ramp that goes into it, which I'd have to level that. It's still sloped right there. Even the parking surface is sloped. It all had to be leveled out. But the other idea that I had is, where's a good place? This bank back here. So technically that lot runs all the way through here. Basically, this picture is my property line, if you imagine that. It's more like sloped. Hold on. From what I can tell, it's actually more sloped like this, because it goes off in the distance, but parallel to the house. You guys see that, right? That's my property line. This bank right here, I own all the way to the road back there, which is an alley, right? So this is all a bank right here, right? Take like it's before we even move in, if we were going to buy it, before we even move in is get a Bobcat or a Mini X up there, excavate the bank and put in a retaining wall to where it's like a flat wall and get back that extra probably 8 feet, maybe 12 feet that's back there to the alley. You know what I mean? Take all that back, build a stacked stone retaining wall, and then maybe put a shed behind the thing. I don't know. It's well below our price. It's in the very bottom of our price range. I do like it because it's new. I just don't like having I've seen people do that before. Like they'll put lattice up and shit. If I was going to do that, like if I was going to try to store stuff below the deck, I guess what I would probably do is take these steps out right here, put them on the other side maybe, like on facing this back part, and then wrap this deck all the way around. Like have an L-shaped deck. Connect this deck and that deck. Something like this. Right, make that all wooden deck. And then maybe work with that. I guess you could have some storage there. I don't know. I've got really expensive tools, and the stuff that I didn't lose in the flood or that I've replaced since the flood, I don't want them sitting under a deck. Like I need, at minimum, what are those things called? Hold on. Like the sheds I used to build. What was the company I worked for? I can't even remember the fucking name of the shed company I worked for. But like at minimum, I would need something like this. Getting it behind the house would be ideal. I do know they'll come out. So like, let's say, like what Legend was saying, if like right at the front of the driveway, I wish this was zoomed out a little bit more, but right here, a man could put like, if you imagine like the front of a shed right here, right over that part, and then it goes over chat, right? It'd be over here. I do know though, it's still on a pretty bad, slope right there. And I know the company that sells the sheds will charge you a fee, and they'll come out and like set it up on cinder blocks and shit, and you can backfill it later. You don't have to have like a perfect pad for them. But there's no sense in us rushing into anything. Yeah, this is a good deal. What makes this house good is I don't particularly like, this double wide or, the price is good. Two things. The price is good and it's so incredibly close to the kids' school. But I've got a year before I don't have to move, right, at all. And then I've got a year before I even want to be moved, right? That's just a deadline that I made up, right? I want to be moved move out by the spring into a new place by the spring of 2027, early spring. I'm talking like February maybe of 2027. So almost a year. I wish, hold on, I can show you this from this picture. Hold on. Wasn't there a picture of the front deck? Did I already pass it? There's a better site. You could put a shed right there. Right? There could be like right in front of this. Right here. You could make a shed right there, right? Anyways, it would just, the fence, I'm assuming there's an old fence there. I'm assuming that's the property line as well, or maybe a foot or 2 foot, depending on who did it off that property line. But go back to this picture. The best part about this property is obviously it's just a double wide, nothing special. I mean, it is new, and it's got a 1-year manufacturer's warranty and shit with it if anything's fucked up. But the only really good part is like, it's hard to see, but let's see if I can do this. This building right here is our local health department, okay? And then if you see off in the distance, this is a road. And then let's change colors. This, hard to say, is our track and field. The blue is our track and field, which is Liam's soccer, where he plays soccer. Okay. And right now, let's change colors again. I'll go to yellow. I'll go to green, bright green. Right now, Liam goes to school like, it's not in the picture, but let's say Liam's school's like over here. I could see it from the porch. Oliver's school is currently like right here, right beside the track. Right? And then when Oliver goes to middle school, it's literally, you can see the top of the building right here. Like over the track, there's like this little dome looking thing. This green circle I'm just now drawing, that's the school Oliver's going to go to middle school in. Like, that's the only good thing about it, I guess. Or the best thing about it. The price is also good too, right? It's $199, which is really good for our area, even for a double wide. There's some people that want 300 fucking grand for a double wide on a postage stamp of land. Like, it's insane. But honestly, like, if they would have just put two, instead of trying to squeeze this third mobile home on there, if they would have just put two here and spaced them out a little bit more, that would be that. I would have put in an offer. I mean, I like the place that much, but the fact that there's three, what if I hate this fucking neighbor? Liam's going to start driving, and look how crazy this fucking driveway is when he starts driving. That we already saw, like on this driveway right here, on both sides of the driveway, on this side and on this side of the driveway, fucking tire tracks where you can't see the driveway when you're driving up or down, where people already drove off the fucking driveway. Yeah, just a lot of negative things as well. But I do like being able to see the school and stuff. Maybe we'll find a spot close to the school. I've got my aunt looking. I've got a realtor looking. I've got people looking. So we'll see what we can find. We're not in a rush. I don't want to rush into something and then regret it. In a month, see like a place with an awesome fucking garage and this, that, and the other, or whatever. I don't want to do that for sure. So there you go. There's the realtor we met with in the house we looked at today. What was the name of that? Hold on. Old Hickory. Old Hickory. Those are the buildings I made. Hold on. Old Hickory Buildings. That's where I shot myself in the knee with a nail gun. There's some cool buildings we put out, though. Anyways, it got destroyed during the flood, but it's all back up and running. So there you go. Now you know. It seems it's always either nice size house and no property, and tiny home. That's that's affordable, hard to find. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Honestly, the prices suck right now, but if the interest rate was a lot better, I could afford the payments. You know, the payments would be manageable, even if the house was more expensive. Talking about like a 6% instead of a 4%. I saw a guy the other day that is trying to sell his house. If it wasn't an hour drive, a veteran trying to sell his house, and the real estate agent thinks that they can transfer, as long as you qualify for the VA loan, they can transfer his 2.09% interest with the home. But it's a fucking hour. It would be an hour drive to get Liam to school every day. And we don't want to change schools, so I don't know what they're expecting interest rates to go. I don't know who they are. But when Donald Trump puts Besson in, he's going to just tell them to lower interest rates. It's probably going to cause hyperinflation and fuck everybody else. But it'd be a good time to lock in a home loan. All right. Let's do something else. The perfect way to handle a drunk guy storming the stage. This is Brian Adams. Couldn't do it any better.
I got my bought it at the 5 hand time. Played it to my finger. Was the summer of.
Never even missed a beat. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. I'm not changing Liam's school. Liam's got a good group of friends. He's on the soccer team. It's got to be, even if I lie about my address and say that he's in that school district, it's got to be something we're willing to drive every day. Brian Adams, the name that I said when I introduced the video, Brian Adams, that same Brian Adams. Also, I found this video. It was pretty funny. RC airplane.
All right, I'm going to do a fast pass. Full send.
Meow. Now you hear oscillating?
That sounds kind of weird, dude.
It's a Spectrum ESC. I've got no control.
What?
None.
What? Holy shit.
Dude, that $600 plane, wide open throttle hitting the ground, that is a wild sound. It reminds me of mortar fire.
I've got no
That engine oscillating, something's wrong with the signal. It was sitting the engine shouldn't be going wee, 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 wee constantly, right?
control.
What?
None.
The top speed on this plane is like over 200 miles an hour.
What? Holy shit. Spectrum's fault.
I'm glad they can laugh it off. I'd be crying. Oh my God, look at that crater. Look at that fucking crater, dude. Damn. Reminds me of 9/11 Shanksville. Be with them, Benjamin Netanyahu. Hold them close tonight up in heaven. Anyways, the $600 mistake. I want to hear it hit again. Thank you for the gift. It's up, Anonymous.
53 a subscription.
That's Mariah. God damn it, Mariah.
One sub to Bugjude 53.
You got money to waste?
I'm going to do a fast pass. Full send.
Here's what we hear. Sounds kind of weird, huh? I've got no control. Really? Boom. I know it was you, idiot.
That sounds kind of weird, dude.
It's a Spectrum ESC. I've got no control.
What?
None.
What? Holy shit. Spectrum's fault.
I can't believe he's able just to laugh that off. Right, your dumbass shows up twice a year, and the first person you buy a sub for is always Bug Dude for some reason. Everybody knows it's you. Not to mention, I can see your card statements. Your husband's not happy. Why are you not listening?
All right, I'm going to do a fast pass. Full send.
This is the energy. The energy this plane hit the ground with is the energy I bring to the bedroom when Mariah says hit it from behind. When I had to put her in her corner, boom. It's just like that.
That sounds kind of weird, dude.
It's a Spectrum ESC. I've got no
Mariah,
control.
you're going in the corner.
What?
None.
What?
Right there. That's the last thing Mariah hears before she blacks out.
Shit. Spectrum's fault.
That's right. Butthole knives. Oh, hold on. That's the fuselage. All right, so the wings are there, and the part of the wings that attach to like the fuselage, that is the nose and shit of the plane right there. All this paper that is disintegrated, that's like the front of the plane where the engine hooks to, where if it was a real plane, like where the pilot would sit. I will take a pounding for the team as... Okay. Too far. You go have your fantasies in someone else's chat, Mariah. Damn. Damn. Thank God Suko's not here. She'd have to be Googling shit. She'd be embarrassed and fucking blushing. Hope she's at Mahjong with her mother. You said it. You're sick with. You said it. Hold on. We can highlight it for the whole class. Murbird, I will take a pounding for the team as punishment. Then semen face. I mean, yeah, I bet. Yeah, because that's what you always say. That's what you always say when your husband is doing domestic violence. I'll take your pounding, Steve. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, sure. That's what you meant. Of course. Of course, we all knew that. Mariah's already had the angry dragon multiple times. Self-induced. I don't think she understands how it works. Where are we going to now? Fuel shortages? Maybe? Yeah, let's go there. Fuel shortages begin.
So Donald Trump grants Iran another deadline. Now it's 10 days. It started off as 48 hours, and then it was 5 days, and he's tacked on another 10 days.
Okay, semen face.
17 days total of deadlines Donald Trump has now issued because he can't figure out how to get out of this mess that he's created, and he refuses to accept the fact that what is going on with the Strait of Hormuz could be potentially catastrophic for the global economy. So let's look at where we're at right now, because they're obviously refusing to listen to experts and economists on what they're doing. They don't want to listen to any of that. So this is already happening, right? Fuel shortages.
Everybody make fun of Mariah because she's the only person under the age of 40 that exclusively uses Facebook. It's the only social media platform she uses.
Shortages. The worst, South Asia. LPG shortages, forcing businesses to shut down as they try to switch to coal. Rationing power as delays mount for gas refills. Pakistan is extremely exposed. Fuel prices have gone through the roof. Conservation measures going on there, remote schooling, reduced activity. Bangladesh, power outages, blackouts, fuel constraints, energy shortages hitting manufacturing, especially the garment industry. And that region is sort of the epicenter of the most severe shortages that are happening right now, but they're happening in a lot of places. 13% of the gas stations in Australia are out of gas. And then look at Southeast Asia, countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, the Philippines. These are countries with heavy import dependence and very limited reserves. Shutting down businesses, shutting down offices. Travel, rationed and limited. Fishing fleets in Thailand are completely idled. You have government subsidies and emergency measures taking place in the Philippines. This is like early stage.
The B Harvard nutrient they come out with. It's a yeast nutrient that matches. Oh, I did see that. And that's what I Googled too, just to make sure I was right. Scientists develop a new superfood supplement that mimics pollen, but it's designed to help honeybees fight disease and boost their colony reproduction. This development addresses significant bee population declines, improving their nutrition and ability to resist pathogens. It's pretty cool.
Shortage stuff, combined with like demand destruction.
The bees don't know. They think it's pollen, but it makes them stronger and healthier and have more babies, which is good.
Asia, South Korea, Japan, China. South Korea has a large industrial slowdown happening in plastics, petrochemicals. Japan, who is extremely dependent, they're tapping reserves. They are also, asking people to reduce travel, work remotely, do anything they can. Of course, China is restricting fuel exports to protect their supply. That is largely hitting Australia. Sri Lanka. They're just taking public holidays to reduce fuel use because shortages are coming. And other countries are starting to get squeezed. And every single day, this is going to get worse.
Invest in the bee nutrient market? Maybe.
What I just told you are the very beginnings of what I was trying to describe to you, 2-3 weeks ago when I said...
I'm trying to get back on schedule. Chill the fuck out.
This 3-week window, right? And I told you we bought some days. We're seeing the cracks in the system, they're starting to show up. Europe has very, very tight fuel supplies, especially aviation fuel. Flights are being cut all over the world.
If I could have any house, I would probably take my aunt's house in Florida and tell Liam, just suck it up. You don't need friends. We live in Florida now. Sorry. Fuck soccer. Fuck your friends. Fuck all your extracurricular. We live in Florida now. Welcome.
In places like Chile, they're having panic buying. People are going nuts. And this is just going to spread. That's it. We're seeing real shortages already. And all those parts of Asia, which I told you from the beginning, those would be the places that would be the worst hit. Asia would get hit first. And that's exactly what we're seeing. This is stage one of this energy crisis. And the Trump administration still refuses.
We just do it like those parents that sent their kids out to the desert to get killed by that outdoors enthusiast guy we were talking about the other day. You know, the troubled teens retreat or whatever. We'd kidnap him in the middle of the night. He'd just wake up and be a Florida man.
To even consider what they may be doing to the global economy. And now we've got 10 more days. 10 more days of deadline handed to, Iran.
Did you guys see that? Hold on.
Queuing for petrol. Queuing for petrol. Queuing for petrol. But I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse. I'm on a horse. I don't need petrol because he runs on carrots. He runs on carrots. He runs on carrots.
Guys just trolling people at the gas station from horseback.
I don't need petrol because I'm on a horse. Queuing for petrol.
Oh, the people won't take anything seriously nowadays.
And everyone keeps asking the wrong question.
I watched a woman the other day in the UK. She was buying about liters, which it's hard to wrap your head around gallons to liters and the price difference or whatever. But she put a quarter of a tank in. And it cost her $137, dude.
About the Strait of Hormuz. Keep asking, how high is oil going to go? That's not the question. The question is what happens to the global economy. That's the question.
It's like a $500 or $600 refill from empty.
I told you yesterday about the Bab el Mandeb Strait. What can happen if that closes? And it's important to me that you folks understand that this isn't just me saying this. This isn't just Mr. Global. When I talk about things like this, I look for consensus in my opinions.
Oh, yeah. When I drove a truck, it was nothing to have $1,000 for fucking fuel.
See if I'm crazy, because listen, this is one of those, this isn't even a once in a lifetime thing, really. This is like a doomsday scenario that I've heard about my whole career. So when I talk about this, I do an enormous amount of research and a lot.
You haven't rode your one wheel in so long, I don't think you can ride it. I think you've lost the ability. I don't think you can ride it.
Of opinions from the greatest economists in the world. And since this situation that we're in is almost unheard of, there's going to be variability in opinions. But no economists believe that this is not going to be bad for the economy. Like, nobody's saying that anywhere. The variability in the opinions of these economists around the world is how long it's going to be bad. Not that it's going to be bad. Everyone agrees this is bad. And, one person I looked to, his name is Mohammed El Arian, and he's the former chief investment officer at PIMCO. And I've been following him for a while just to see, what his thoughts are. I follow quite a few economists because oil and gas and geopolitics and economics, all of these things intertwine. They're all sort of in bed together, for lack of a better word. I'm not an economist. I'm not a trained economist. I know a lot about it because I kind of have to. But, he says we're quickly approaching a tipping point. And he's not talking about price spikes. He's talking about a tipping point where the kind of things start breaking in ways that you don't immediately see.
The one good thing I got going for me is I don't make a whole lot of money. The stream barely makes anything. It pays. Hopefully it pays for its office. It hasn't been doing so great lately, but it's not like I'm fucking raking in a ton of money like big streamers and shit. But I have stability. So because of my VA disability, that money, no matter what I make on the stream, what I make on the side, or if I get fired fucking tomorrow or nobody shows up and donations go down like they are right now, thank God I have my disability straightened out. Or we probably wouldn't have made it through the part where I like flipped on fucking Trump. Like I probably would have went back on the road or some shit. If I was still at my old percentage, there's no way. Because I went through a dip where the fucking stream wasn't even, for a long time, wasn't even paying the rent at the office. Like I was paying it out of my pocket.
See, and that's kind of what I was just laying out for you with these fuel shortages already happening and rationing and blackouts in countries far away that Americans don't even know about as far as these things happening in these countries. And he's pretty...
The one very, 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 very annoying thing I have going for me is in chat right now.
That's where I'm at on his opinions of what we're headed towards. There's not much daylight between me and that fellow right there, because energy is not just another commodity. It's the input into everything. I think this administration just looks at oil and gas and just looks at oil and gas prices without realizing that it is literally the input into everything else. Food, manufacturing, shipping, even renewable energy. Renewable energy is built, mined, and transported with fossil fuel energy. So, you know, when oil spikes...
There was also a couple people, I don't want to short anybody, there's also a couple people that stood up, like when we were struggling really bad and made donations. Thank you to those people. They're like, hey, I know it's not been going great, but here's, you know, a couple $100 or whatever.
Everyone thinks about their gas tank, understandably, because that's where it's hitting them directly.
Oh, so you mean when the kids aren't ruining my life anymore? Yeah, let's wait for it. What are we doing then?
But this goes through the entire economy. And that's where the folks like me who believe we're probably at a 60 or 70% chance of recession right now. And when I say we, I'm talking about globally. This is not a United States problem. This is a global problem. This is everybody's problem. Barclays, global bank, they are currently modeling scenarios on this and saying, calling this a...
Italy's not very happy with the U.S. and the stuff that's going on in Iran. I heard someone saying, let's take our fucking bases out of Italy and shit. Some congressman, Lindsey Graham, somebody.
Structural shock to the economic system and expecting a chain reaction. We're talking about not only prices rising across the board for everything, we're talking...
It's not my fault I caught Liam fucking molting out of his exoskeleton in the middle of the night. It scared me. I didn't know what to say.
About consumers stop spending money. We're talking about businesses not investing money. We're talking about central banks being stuck. This is a whole chain reaction of events because inflation is absolutely going to rise. And, you know, so they can't cut rates to stimulate the economy with inflation rising, even though growth is going to be slowing, so they need to. Like, this is a worst place to be in. It's a trap, right? That's how you get stagflation. So right out of the 1970s. And then you have the OECD. They're already saying much higher inflation, much slower growth, and a system under enormous pressure. Basically, the folks I just named are pretty much in agreement with what I say. I'm in agreement with what they say, right? Let's call that camp one, right? Let's say there's two camps, right? And then you have camp two. They're a little bit more cautious and measured. They're, you know, like Christine Lagarde. She's not completely, you know, she's not dismissing the risk, but she's afraid to say we're looking at a global economic collapse, right? Well, I'm not saying we're going to have a global economic collapse. I'm saying the risk
doesn't look good.
Is growing by the day. Now, Ms. Lagarde says, you know, the economy has shock absorbers, strategic reserves can be released, supply chains can be rerouted. Demand.
Right, I really, 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 really need Liam's eye prescription. I keep asking you for. I need that.
Fall because prices are going to rise. You know, she's the system bends but doesn't break kind of person. And historically, that would not be wrong. You know, markets do bend. Markets are adaptive. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I agree that high prices cure high prices. But the problem is, and this is where the debate gets real, the problem, there's one variable there, time. Time. And I have been stressing time from the beginning of this thing every day. Everything depends on time. If the disruption stops right now or very quickly.
Liam's worried about goggles looking bad, but I found some like these like just like athletic looking glasses that are safe, that won't bust, crack, break. They fall off, get stepped on. He can still put them back on or whatever. But we need to get him out of his regular glasses before he gets hurt.
Maybe the system can absorb it and adapt. And maybe, you know, you get a lot of volatility, growth.
I aggravate Liam because he's built like a stick bug, and you know, say stuff about him being an insect every once in a while. He laughs. It's funny. He knows I don't think any less of him or whatever. It's just it's an inside family joke.
Scare, and maybe it does stabilize in a few months and everything kind of works itself out. We avoid, you know, a deep global recession. We just have a rough, you know, maybe a rough quarter. Maybe so. But what if it drags on? If it drags on, you're not just dealing with price spikes, you're dealing with sustained constraint on the most important input in the entire global economy. And that changes the behaviors of the rest of the economy. When companies stop planning for growth and start planning for survival, that's a problem. When consumers stop just cutting back and just completely stop spending at all, that's a problem. And suddenly what started as this regional conflict becomes a global economic event, which is why no other U.S. president has done this. This is exactly what we're looking at. That's why this matters far beyond the oil markets, because the Strait of
Global implications. I mean, could fuck a bunch of the world's economies up.
Hormuz isn't just about energy. It's about confidence in the global economic system. Confidence that the supply chains will work, that prices will somehow get back to stable, confidence that tomorrow looks better than today maybe. And once that's gone, things move really fast south, much faster than any model can predict. This is not just an oil story. Yes, this started out as an oil story, but I've been telling you for a while, this is a global economic story. That's the big picture. It's a story about systems, choke points, fragility. That's what this is about. And the only thing economists are split on is how bad it can be. But even the most moderate, sort of cautious economist recognize that it can absolutely be as bad as the economists that disagree with them think it can be. They agree with them. They just don't think we're quite there yet. The disagreements are in duration. How long will it hurt, right? How long will we have this economic constraint? How quick can supplies adjust? How much pain can the system absorb before things break? But as far as I'm concerned, from a perspective of at least consumers in the United States that are already struggling, people are already struggling. Food prices are already going to rise. That's locked in. That's not a thing that's going to change. That is completely locked in. And people in this country that are already struggling are going to struggle significantly worse. So now, you know, you had a minuscule bit of relief with gas prices over the last year. What, 10, 15 cents a gallon? Which was completely destroyed by your $700, $800, $1,200 electric bills. And completely destroyed by your grocery bills.
Trump's going to cut those in half his first year in office.
Well, you've lost anything you've saved with gas prices. Your electric bills definitely aren't going down. And now your food prices are going to rise. And potentially interest rates. Like, this is not good in our economy, which is already fragile. So, you know, that's where we are. And this administration does not want to admit it. They don't want to think about it. They want to continue to say the same things. That's going to be fine. This will be over in a few weeks. Everything will go back to normal. That's not how it works. You've literally disrupted entire global supply chains. What is going on here is easily as damaging to the global economy as COVID. It absolutely can be. And he can't pull out. He can't admit that he made a mistake. So he continues to give these, you know, to draw these lines in the sand and extend them further out and extend them further out. And the only saving grace we have right now is we've been able to reroute some oil. There's been some leakage of
God, everything sounds so horrible right now.
Of tankers through the strait occasionally, averaging 1 or 2 a day, which is significantly better than a complete shutdown. So instead of losing 20 million barrels a day of oil, we've lost 15. That buys us some time. But that's not enough. That's not enough to stop what's coming if we don't get it back open. There's no two ways about it. the fuel shortages are going to continue, and they're going to grow, and there's going to be more delays. Understand something. If the Strait of Hormuz opened today, depending on where that oil is going, on average, it's probably 3 weeks out from its destination, unless it's going to Pakistan. But if it's coming to this side of the world, it's a good 3 weeks out. Time. Time is everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I really appreciate followers and subscribers so much.
I don't know. We got to watch something. Everything's so fucking horrible and negative. I don't know what to say, guys.
All right, love it. It's too.
What about, let's watch something, palate cleanser. What can we, oh, I know. Something that makes us feel good, right? A feel good story. What about this woman who literally traps and tortures elderly people in nursing homes while she sings this super annoying fucking song? Makes me feel better already.
They so ugly, but they comfy. Wear 'em 'cause I'm grumpy. Won't fall like Humpty Dumpty in my crocs. Feeling sexy like a fox in my crocs. Watch how I drops in my crocs. Knock, knock, knock. Check out this box. I got you crocs. Wear 'em with your hospital socks. Crocs. Eating pork chops in my crocs. Beaver wears them, that's why they up in stocks. It's crooked clock. They so ugly, but they comfy. A Jewy girl in a Jewy world. It's all kosher. I'm the Jewish poster. You can feed me hummus. It'll be the funnest. But feed me how you please me. Come on, Jew boy, let's eat schnitzel. Oi, 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 vey. Come on, Shlomo.
It's got to be a comedy act, right? No one lets her come to nursing homes and do this. By the way, one of the comments where she's like, "You like my bun, 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 bun?" One of the comments is just a picture of this guy, and it says, "How I wish I could run, 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 run." It's like IRL Coco Melon. This is a funny one. It's got to be a skit, right?
I'm the Jewish poster. You can feed me hummus. It'll be the funnest. But feed me how you please me. Come on, Jew boy, let's eat schnitzel. Oi, 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 vey. Come on, Shlomo, I'm so hungry. Yada, yada.
Shabbat Shalom. It's the weekend. Erica, my loving, beautiful bride.
Do you like? We're doing the pop. Do you like my bun, 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 bun? Isn't it so fun, 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 fun? Miss the poly bun, miss the poly bun, and it's so darn fun. Do you like my bun, 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 bun? We're doing the poly bun with my buddy here. Say hi. Hi.
They've got to be paying them to be actors. I mean, that's literally torturing old people. Like, obviously, old people aren't children. They don't treat them like they're at a fucking IRL Coco Melon, concert. Like, what the fuck?
Take it down. Do you like my bun, 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 bun?
Yeah, she's got to be the nursing home comedian. Okay. She's got to be, dude. Let's do the finger dance at senior home.
Judy. Oh, she's a big lady. I call her Big Booty Judy. Judy loves this dance. She used to go like this with the fingers. So I wrote this song for her. Do the finger dance. Do the finger dance. Do the finger dance. Do the finger dance. Hey, do the finger dance. Do the finger dance. Do the finger dance.
That's how Mariah dances.
Finger dance. Do the finger dance. Do the finger dance.
I'm gonna start doing totally inappropriate comedic sets at nursing homes.
Side to side, get down, look at your fly, hey, shake them fingers, don't be shy. You got arthritis, come on, just try, hey, yeah. Put your hands up, put your fingers up. My mom's name is Judy. Oh,
What about a throwdown in the trailer park? What is this? What we got going on here?
You hear me?
You will go to jail. You fuck with us.
She's not your sister. She's my old lady. You hear me?
You will go to jail. You fuck with us.
You better fuck you. How about that? Stay in your business here, bro. Come on.
I
Stay
got
in your
911
motherfucking
on my
business here, bro.
phone.
Come on.
Do it, bitch. Do it. I got 911. Go
Don't say
ahead.
nothing else to her, Randy. You hear me?
Yeah.
Not nothing.
Yeah.
Not nothing.
You're sorry, Ted. Where was you at when your daddy was sick?
Play with it.
Where was
Just
you
play
at?
with it. Play with it. Talk to my old lady crazy again. Ain't gonna be no more options to do. One more time, we won't be
Give
no
me a
more
phone.
options.
I want a phone. KO, you put this on.
One more time, won't be no more options.
Every time.
I'm pretty sure I used to buy drugs off this guy. His name's Daniel Ray.
Money.
He stole that car.
And I didn't do. He stole my car out of my yard yesterday.
They ain't stolen that. I got you talking that car.
Yeah, because it was stolen from me. Because it was stolen from me. So get right. You stole from me.
Not one more word. to my-
Only a bitch pulls out a knife.
You fuck
Only a bitch.
your mouth.
You don't know, man.
Come on,
You don't know, boy.
Come on, man.
You don't
You're
know,
going to
boy.
jail. You're going to
You don't
jail.
know, boy.
You're a thief. That you ain't nowhere. You put your daddy out into nowhere. Let him die. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You ain't shit.
Who that? Oh, man.
Yeah, now you let that woman
Oh, Missy. How you doing today, Missy? How you doing, Missy?
I saw some little white girl dancing, doing a TikTok dance with a bunch of black people on a cruise, and they started calling her Hannah Atlanta instead of Hannah Montana. Okay, Hannah Atlanta, I see you.
Bird.
I feel great, but
Oh, that's Bobby.
how you feel today?
I feel
I did buy drugs off these people.
good, Jeffrey.
I'm glad, bro.
I feel good, Jeffrey.
I believe this woman right here needs justice. I found her the other day. Let's see. See if she's got any justice yet. I doubt it.
Can somebody get a hold of Janet Lee Williams Bradbury and tell her to... It's me, Stacey Kennison. Can somebody get a hold of Janet Lee Williams Bradbury and tell her to stop ordering my feet vibrated? She's trying to mock me for being a compromised German. It's their ethnic game they play. Because I guess in the German culture, they like vibrating people's feet. And be sure and pick up Vicky Cohen's daughter because she likes violently vibrating my feet with Sandra Bullock and Jenny Mercer because they keep doing it to make me look crazy and psychotic. It's me, Stacey Kennison. Can somebody...
So the caption on this video says, they keep violently vibrating my feet to disrespect me for being German and to make me look and sound crazy and psychotic. What's violently vibrating? You know that old fucking paint mixer that has that really dangerous 220 cord that we have to plug it in, your vibrator. We had to plug it into 2 different outlets across the house so it doesn't trip a breaker. And it vibrated Ollie out of bed that one time when it turned on when he was taking a nap by accident because we left it plugged in. There's a chance that you will literally see God from the electric shock if you touch the head and the tail of the thing at the same time. That, you remember? You said it made your guts feel like tapioca pudding. That is violently vibrating.
It's me, Stacey Kennison. Can somebody get a hold of Janet Lee Williams Bradbury and tell her to stop ordering my feet vibrated?
We used to rent it out to concrete crews. We used to rent it out to concrete crews on the weekends to fucking vibrate their concrete in their forms. Some bitch was fucking ran off 220 volts or 2-stroke. You mix a little gas and oil together, it was kickstart.
It's me, Stacey Kennison. Can somebody get a hold of Janet Lee Williams Bradbury and tell her to stop ordering my feet vibrated? She's trying to mock me for being a compromised German. It's their ethnic game they play. So I guess in the German culture, they like vibrating people's feet. And be sure and pick up Vicky Cohen's daughter because she likes violently vibrating my feet with Sandra Bullock and Jenny Mercer because they keep doing it to make me look.
Honestly, I can't believe Sandra Bullock would be involved in this. That makes it even worse. I had a lot of respect for Sandra Bullock.
My feet with Sandra Bullock and Jenny Mercer because they keep doing it to make me look crazy and psychotic.
Now she's vibrating Stacey's feet. That kind of pisses me off, okay? You need to be better, Sandra Bullock. I thought you were one of the good ones. Bimbofication. Bimbofication is an often erotic trope found in fiction and on social media involving the transformation of a person, typically a woman, not always, into a bimbo who is characterized by an exaggerated, hyper-feminine appearance. Reduced intellect, so like playing the dumb blonde with giant tits, and increased focus on pleasure or vanity. It is often used in fantasy, erotica, and online subcultures to explore themes of transformation, submission, or satirical, curated femininity. It is basically playing into the trope of like a blonde with giant tits who's just dumb and ditzy but shakes her tits everywhere and she gets everything she wants. Bimboification. Bimboification. Okay? Why are we talking about bimboification? Because Kristi Noem's husband's into it.
We begin today with an unbelievable report from the Daily Mail, which has just been confirmed by the subject. It's a bombshell in more ways than one. Earlier this month, President Trump announced that he was replacing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem while she was embroiled in multiple scandals. She drew controversy by making herself the face of a $200 million ad campaign for the DHS. And
he was talking about how he wanted giant fucking titties to be flopping around in people's faces. It's just bad.
She was accused of having an affair with her longtime aide, who is technically her...
Yeah, you call them your sisters and your mother. I know the ones you know.
Subordinate, Corey Lewandowski. Many blamed her for the politically unpopular immigration surge in Minneapolis, and her messaging around it was, she got out too far ahead of her skis, saying things about Alex Preddy, for example, that she couldn't back up, and kind of compromised the whole narrative in doing that. All of that is what got her in trouble, but all of that is kind of nothing compared to what I'm about to tell you. According to the Daily Mail, Noem's 56-year-old husband, Brian, is a secret cross-dresser who wears gigantic fake boobs and wears pink hot pants.
Trump told them trans for everybody. Trump told them trans for everybody, and they took it as a challenge. You want to bet?
While he chats online with fetish models who have gigantic breasts. Okay. For the listening audience, we're showing a picture of him that the Daily Mail found and published. Think Kayla Lemieux. Think the Canadian.
Right. He does have the same kind of nipples you have. See how this one is up here? Almost could be confused for a very puffy mole, and the other one is centered. So I don't know if maybe that's genetic or something. I don't know. Maybe you guys are related.
Shop teacher. He's clearly put on like a tight little sports bra.
Dude, I had this teacher in high school, and well, not to this day. I haven't seen her in years, but I had a teacher in high school, and I swear to God, her nipples were cross-eyed, and they moved. They moved. Ryan knows exactly who I'm talking about. They'd be looking at you, and then it looked like Cash Patel's eyeballs were nipples. It was the wildest thing, and they were always rock fucking hard, dude. Through a bra, through a shirt, through a jacket, through a hoodie. It didn't matter. She had traffic cones just doing the salsa all the time. Wild looking. No wonder I never learned German or whatever she taught.
sort of nude colored and has stuffed 2 enormous balloons down there for his breasts with the little like tie of the balloon appearing to be like mismatched nipples, and then little hot pink biker shorts below, or maybe they're leggings. I can't see far down enough, thank God. But in other pictures the Daily Mail got its hands on, you can. You can.
It could have been fucking Egyptian, Sumerian, for all I cared. I was just trying to see her tits, bro. Damn.
And see him in his tight little leggings trying to look like a woman, but like a freak woman. The Daily Mail reports that it has reviewed hundreds of messages involving Brian and 3 women from the so-called bimbofication fetish.
Do you think that Trump was tipped off that this story was coming out and to get rid of Noam before it hit the press? Seems kind of convenient, right?
Area of the internet. I don't know how he finds them, but this is where performers receive outrageously large breast enhancements to obtain a Barbie doll-like look, and I guess he's been paying them to show it off for him, and then he returns the favor in kind. It's relevant. It's obviously very salacious, but it's relevant because the reason, if we had known this, she never would have been confirmed for this post.
I don't put my face in the pictures when I go on like the midget forums. I mean, I do pictures. Like some of them, I got my arms pulled back like this, and I'm on my knees. Like I'm on my knees, but my knees go directly into my shoes to where I look like a midget, but I never show my face. I'm not an idiot.
It makes her subject to blackmail. It makes her subject to blackmail because if the Daily Mail can find these pictures and this fetish by her married husband, so can our adversaries. And who knows who could go to Kristi Noem when she was DHS secretary and say, you will do the following things, or we will run to the New York Times with these photos. One of the models who messaged with Brian told the Daily Mail, quote, his kink is for huge, huge, ridiculous boobs. Yes, we can see that. According to the report, Brian.
Yeah, right. Don't send nudes. I got so many pictures of your butthole. I can count the rings and see how you're aging. Like I could set up a time lapse of your butthole. But yeah, make sure you don't include your face.
Brian got in touch with a model using the pseudonym Jason Jackson, that's what he calls himself, and complimented her amazing curves, saying he would treat her like a goddess. Brian asked, how are your boobs? Would you go even bigger? This is unbelievable. I'm sorry, but it's just so absurd. What, like the
Cotton Hill style, that's
nature
right.
of porn on the internet. You know, it's not like when it
Killing
used to be
Nazis.
Playboy and Penthouse, and like a man would see a couple dirty pictures and read a dirty forum and move on with his business. Like it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And any kink you have can be indulged, including like this. I mean, this is a form of cheating. There's no question. Like, ladies, can you imagine if you found out your husband was doing this? And he's not just looking at photos. He's interacting with the so-called bimbos, as I espoused here, quoting him.
Here is bimboification in a portrait. So you take like a regular girl, right? And then you just dress her like more and more revealing, higher and higher heels, bigger and bigger tits, blonder and blonder hair. That's bimboification.
How are your boobs? Would you go even bigger? Yeah, I consider that cheating. He's clearly getting off to the sight of these women who have just mutilated themselves for the pleasure of random strangers online. And then he's returning the favor. He's doing it himself. Like that's a totally different fetish where then you've got to do it. That's autogynephilia. That's what most of these trannies have.
I don't care what he's fucking in. Kristi Noem has been fucking Corey Lewandowski on the goddamn ice plane. I don't give a fuck what he's into. I hope he gets everything. And Kristi Noem's left all alone with her fucking crater face. I'd be in some weird shit if the dog-killing bitch was my wife, too.
Where you get off. It's a sexual fetish. How many times have we discussed this? You get your rocks off dressing like a woman. And then so much the better if other women are around you or see you doing it.
I don't even like tits. Every time I see tits, I'm like, oh, I'm married. Disgusting. It's awful.
Clearly one strain of what Kristi Noem's husband apparently has. And don't tell me it's just the Daily Mail and we don't know because she's just confirmed it, okay? This story's real. We're going to have to deal with this because she's still in the government. She's not in her DHS post, but she's been offloaded to this new commission that the president created, and she's serving there right now. Brian telling this one model that the Daily Mail made contact with it.
Especially like big, giant bouncing titties. I'm like, look, there is no way that I should be here. I'm married right now. Yep, over there too. Yeah, I'm married. Disgusting. Now, I'll be leaving within the hour. So, just so everybody knows, I'm refusing to stay here, and I will be leaving about 59 minutes now. I will be. Trust me.
She inspired him to dress like a girl. Quote, "You turn me into a girl. Should I put on leggings? No, for the love of God, do not put on the leggings, because those pictures may be even more disturbing than the enormous fake breast Kayla Lemieux wannabe photos." I mean, honestly, that's what he looks like. That level of breast enhancement and perversion, though he's not wearing a wig. And by the way, his face is all over the photos. He's not even trying to hide his identity as the spouse of the Department of Homeland Security chief. Here he is in another one of his little outfits with the same giant fake breast.
It almost makes you want to believe in the QAnon, what do they call it? Humiliation rituals.
Giving a kissy face. Is that what that is? Like, he does a close-up of the fake breasts, and then is it a kissy face? Abigail Finan and I were debating it backstage, where Abby made more just like a sourpuss, but I don't know what that is. But I can speak for all women in America when I say we don't want to see our husband doing it. I mean, I feel for Kristi Noem. It puts a totally different spin on the affair she's allegedly been having with Corey Lewandowski. Who could blame her?
Those are different fake breasts. Yeah, he's just shoving stuff in his shirt. The first set were balloons. I don't know what the second set was.
Who could blame her? It feels almost noble at this point. I mean, like, it's not noble. I mean, they're both married and have children and all of it. I'm just saying it definitely gives a different...
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care what you're into or what he's into. Like, his wife is fucking horrible. I guarantee you he's into some fucking weird shit just to deal with that stupid cunt.
Look at it, because you never know what's going on in someone's marriage. Now, I'll get to what she's saying. She's suggesting she didn't know. So I guess technically it wouldn't justify the affair. But even if you don't know, don't you know, as a wife? You know, I had a dear friend who had a husband who cheated on her for years. And she finally found out when one of the women came forward to her. And my friend didn't know, like, we were all shocked, but my friend had been manifesting, I think, knowing without knowing, in multiple health problems and stress and anxiety that had been plaguing her. I really think it's very hard for a spouse to get away with this for years, for, you know, who knows how many years this has been going on with him. Without the other spouse.
I wore Mariah's panties one time, looking in the back shelf of our refrigerator, and she was so turned on. I think she's into it.
Having something internal tell them something is off. Maybe I'm just telling myself that you'd know, because we all want to think we'd know. Anyway, back to the story. A PayPal account associated with this Jason Jackson, again, that's Brian, would regularly send the woman money in installments, typically between $500 and $1,000. That's your tax money going to use there. In total, he allegedly paid the models at least $25,000. The Daily Mail got in touch with Brian, and he did not, notably, deny having explicit online conversations with these so-called Barbie or bimbofications, and nor of sharing photos of himself dressed as these so-called bimbos. So he did deny the notion that Kristi Noem could have been blackmailed over it. Okay, well, he doesn't know. I mean, that's not deniable. That's for us to decide whether she was subjected to could have been subjected to blackmail.
Kristi Noem didn't deny it either. She was just asking for prayers through this tough time or some shit like.
But he did not deny that it was him. So, you know, it's a scoop by the Daily Mail. And it turns out, you know, the right wing may have its own Kayla Lemieux, though I don't think we own Brian Noem. But this is Kayla. Maybe the two of them can meet up.
It might be, yeah, she might have released those. Like, she's clearly, everybody knows, like, it's just like an open secret that she's fucking Corey Lewandowski, right? She's been cheating on her husband for years. They live almost completely separate lives.
He, Kayla, is a male, was the Canadian teacher who wore the fake Z-cut breasts in school. Take a look at them side by side. They're basically twins. They're twinning. There's.
By the way, look how happy and less cratered and cracked and Satan-like her face was when she got married. Back before she would literally do anything for money and power for Trump. Like, she doesn't look like a horrible person there. But goddamn if she didn't become horrible as fuck, dude.
It's like there's enough breast between these two to take up an entire aisle at the grocery store. You think like the chicken breast? Nothing. This is pounds and pounds of breast. I don't know what was in Kayla's fake boobs, but we are told that Brian's is balloons. That's how it looks. And now we get a comment from Kristi Noem, who tells the New York Post she's devastated by these allegations. It's some representative of hers saying she is devastated. The family was blindsided by this. They ask for privacy and prayers at this time. I mean, she's got them. She's got them. This is not what you want to see if you were married to anyone, to find out that this level of betrayal has happened. This speaks to somebody's entire character. The fetish, yes, but the lying, the deceit, the money, the getting off with another person, not your spouse, all of it is very dark and dirty and disgusting. And I'm sure whenever she found out, whether it was today or previously, I'm sure it's made her skin crawl. Like it's making our
Wait,
skin crawl.
is he one of the guys that we don't want in the, in the bathroom with our sons and daughters, or no? He's a different one.
And just what an incredibly reckless risk for her husband to have taken, given the position she just held for the first year of the Trump administration. It's not the president's fault. It's her husband's fault. And I wouldn't be. So they've been married since they were in like the sweethearts since they.
Laura Loomer came out, and Brian known Christino's husband is secretly a cross-dresser, as per Daily Mail report. The news about Brian's cross-dressing has reportedly left the former DHS chief devastated, a spokesperson communicated. However, far-right commentator and Donald Trump loyalist Laura Loomer has claimed that Brian's cross-dressing was an open secret. Taking to X, Loomer spoke about Brian's cross-dressing tendencies and also alluded to Noam having an affair with Corey Lewandowski, who worked under her at DHS. Yeah, he did. Notably, both Noam and Lewandowski have denied allegations of an affair. Here's all that Laura Loomer said. Laura Loomer started off quoting part of Noam's spokesperson's statement after the report on Brian. Kristi Noem said her family was blindsided by revelations her husband is a cross-dresser and gay. She wrote on X before adding that the above statement was not true. She knew all about her husband, Loomer claimed. She added that Noem did not live with her husband as a result and instead stayed with Lewandowski in the D.C. area. That's what I've heard. They basically live separate lives. That's why her husband never divorced her. It was their arrangement. Literally everyone in the admin has known this forever, Loomer added. Sorry, hold on just a second. She continued, I'm shocked it didn't come out earlier. They can divorce and move on and live their lives without keeping secrets. I feel bad for Corey's wife. She is the widow of a firefighter who was killed on 9/11, Corey Lewandowski's wife. Indeed, Allison Lewandowski, Corey's wife, was first married to Brian Kinney, a Massachusetts native who was killed in 9/11 attacks. Kinney was reportedly one of the Lewandowski's best friends. After his death, Allison and Lewandowski then connected, following their past high school and college dating history. So this is her college boyfriend, her high school boyfriend, Lewandowski is, to his wife, Allison. Then after college, they separate. She marries a guy that happens to be her old college, high school boyfriend's best friend. He dies in 9/11, and then they get back together. Following the report on Brian, several users flocked to both his and Chrissy's Instagram profiles to comment on their photos. The recent surfacing of information has also worried experts that Brian's personal inclinations might have opened Noam to blackmail when she was DHS chief. When President Donald Trump was asked about the report on Brian, his reaction was one of surprise. The president was told that the Noams had not denied the report. At this point, Trump said, wow, well, I feel badly for the family if that's the case. That's too bad, he added. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything about it. That's too bad, but I just know nothing about it, while speaking to the Daily Mail.
In high school, he's talked about it. She came on our show and talked about it. She was a young rancher's daughter. They met, they fell in love. Actually, I think we queued some of this up. Here is, let's see. Yeah, he gave an interview to Moms for America in April of 2021. And here he is talking about how his relationship with Christy started, SOT 3.
We were friends, and I was a classmate with her brother. And so I was acquainted with her throughout high school. And then she went to the same college I did. We started dating when she was in high school, and then she went to college, and then just, the typical off and on relationship. And we finally started.
They don't give a fuck about cheating. It's just the weird outrage that they can drum up currently. And the fact that this has anything to do with what they would lump everybody into, this, again, like Trump says, trans for everybody. So if you're a cross-dresser, if you're gay, or if you're a lesbian, or if you're any of those things, you're trans, you're trying to kill the kids, or at least that's what they claim in their platform, right? So he's ousted, but the way Megyn Kelly's like, oh, the cheating. Well, she's fucking Corey Lewandowski and has been for years, dude.
To get serious, and then we, asked her to marry me, and of course she said yes. And so, but we grew up in the same community, going to the same school, with the same group of friends, raised on a farm, with the same kind of upbringing, good values, hard work, and when I went to college my freshman year, I'd heard that she had some interest in me, and then of course, why wouldn't I have interest in her? She's remarkable. So we started dating then, and then it kind of went from there. And in 1990,
are you talking about black male or white male men?
we got married.
It really does make you wonder what causes a fetish like this in somebody. You know, I remember Deborah So came on the podcast early on before we even had video, and she's a specialist in this kind of thing, in these sex fetishes. And she really thinks that they should be normalized and that we shouldn't stigmatize them. I mean, this is a different scenario given Christy's role, given the money that changed hands, given the fact that she's saying this was a secret from her. But okay, let's say it wasn't a secret, or it isn't in some marriages. Like, what causes it? And Deborah So told us that one of the weirdest fetishes she ever dealt with was people who get turned on by the idea of an animal eating them, like eating them for lunch. Like, what causes that? What happens to you in your childhood that makes that be your thing, or makes this be your thing? Where like, it's not only like the enormous breasts on a woman. I think a lot of men could say, yeah, I'm into that. But like the grotesquely enormous breasts, and then you put them on? I don't know. I would like to understand that better. Not that much better. Thanks for watching this clip. If you're new here,
not that much better. I'd like to understand that better, but not that much. Not that much better. How fucking insane, dude. After all the crazy shit they've said and claimed about the left and the radicals and this, the call's coming from inside the house. Turns out everybody has fucking weird sex lives and kinks and shit. Like, I don't know. You got to make it a bigger deal than it is. Fucking insane, dude. Here's a video of the importance of letting women have their credit. When a woman does something amazing, she should get the credit for it, and she should not be overlooked for a man, by a man, with a man, or the credit given to a man. And that's a hard stance I take. This is a pretty good video, doing a rundown on it.
Matilda effect is when women do the work, but men take the credit. For example, Dr. Rosalind Franklin, she took the first image of DNA. Dude stole it, got famous, and got famous and received the Nobel Prize. She got cancer and died. Gabrielle Collette, best-selling French novelist. Her husband locked her in a room and forced her to write while he took credit. Ada Lovelace invented coffee.
This is so funny, dude. This is so funny. This woman made a whole video about men taking credit for women's work, and this dude just sticks his face over it and just speaks over it the whole fucking time, dude. This is so fucking funny. I wish I would have thought of this.
She invented something, doesn't really matter.
She was dismissed as a glorified secretary. Margaret Keane painted the creepy big-eyed port. Matilda effect is when women do the work, but men take credit. For example, Dr. Rosalind Franklin, she took the first image of...
Even women are in the comments saying, I fucking hate how funny this is. Like, I would love to be upset, but I fucking hate how funny this is. Another woman says, finally, someone, a man, made a video on the Matilda effect. I've been waiting on this. This is so funny, dude.
The Matilda effect is when women do the work, but men take the credit. For example, Dr. Rosalind Franklin, she took the first image of DNA. Dude stole it, and got famous and received the Nobel Prize. She got cancer and died.
Someone said, I love your content, bro, but can you turn down the dishwasher in the background?
Gabrielle Collette, best-selling French novelist. Her husband locked her in a room and forced her to write while he took credit. Ada Lovelace invented coding for a machine that didn't even exist
doesn't really
yet.
matter.
She was dismissed as a glorified secretary. Margaret Keane painted the creepy big-eyed port. Matilda effect is when women do the work, but men take the credit. For example,
I'm glad somebody's finally bringing attention to this issue, right? We had to get somebody out there to really be on the forefront of this, right? Get the eyes on. Also, I heard probably the most sus announcer for Major League Baseball today. So check this out.
I'd like to see him and Garcia on a oiled up and flexing after a good workout.
Garcia might have him this year.
Boy, he's a big man. I'd like to see him and Garcia on a oiled up and flexing after a good workout.
Garcia might have.
I'd like to see him and Garcia oiled up and flexing after a good workout. What was bro trying to say?
Him and I'd like to see him and Garcia on a oiled up and flexing after a good workout.
Garcia might have him this year.
Boy, he's a big man. I'd like to see him and Garcia on a oiled Oiled up and flexing after a good workout.
Garcia might have him this year.
Boy, he's a big man. I'd like to see him and
Oh, he's a big man. He's a big man.
up and flexing after a good workout.
Garcia might have him this year.
Boy, he's a big man. I'd like to see him and Garcia on a oiled up and flexing after a good workout.
Garcia might have him this year.
That was why we're all just really excited for baseball season, I guess. Yeah, maybe he was talking about the RFK Kid Rock video. That is true. Oiled up and flexing. I didn't even think about that. I want to watch this shit that never happened again. This is actually really good. I know we watched it last time.
I was going through TSA the other day, Maria, and a patriotic, wonderful TSA supervisory officer stopped me, and she told me that she had missed her second paycheck. And I said, I'm so sorry. That's so wrong that you missed your second paycheck. And she said, why are you apologizing? You voted for my paycheck. You voted repeatedly. Republicans have voted repeatedly for a paycheck. It's the Democrats who need to apologize to me.
Wow, so they know that.
And she knew that, and she said, and I want you to tell the Democrats something else. For those of us in TSA, we support ICE. ICE is our sister agency. We have the same mission. Our mission is Homeland Security. Tell them to do their job and not only fund our paychecks, but fund ICE.
Well, that's a very nice story.
Sounds like every TSA supervisor I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you for sharing that.
And then I got on my unicorn and flew away.
I was going through TSA the other day, Marie.
Lindsey Graham talking about people being oiled up. It could have been, maybe. Special guest announcer, Lindsey Graham. All right, more serious shit. Veteran arrested for ICE protest. He wasn't arrested by ICE. He was arrested by the FBI, but for protesting against ICE.
The sound of banging on Army veteran Bajan Malvawalla's front door startled him awake at 6 a.m., the morning of July 15th, 2025.
Something's not right. And I went and I looked out the upstairs window. The street's all closed off and there's a bunch of guys with rifles.
It was the FBI, and they had come to arrest him.
My dad very, very quickly after that was like, you know, Bage, it's the FBI. They've got a warrant.
Bajan was arrested for conspiracy for his role in an anti-ICE protest more than a month earlier.
I'm an Afghanistan veteran. I'm an American citizen.
Bajan kept his cool in handcuffs while the FBI searched his pockets.
Have you been read your rights?
His father recorded this video.
My son is steady as a rock, saying, you know, he's an Afghanistan veteran, that this is unjust.
If convicted, Bajan would face up to 6 years in prison.
I don't think that you really realize how far away we've come from democracy until you open the door and see federal agents to arrest your son for a nonviolent protest.
Bajan comes from a military family. His parents both served in the Army. His father, Bajan Ray Malvawalla, a retired intelligence officer, earned 3 Bronze Stars in Iraq and Afghanistan. He and Bajan served in Afghanistan at the same time.
I think that might be my favorite photograph in the entire world.
The younger Malvawalla provided signals intelligence in Kandahar province, one of the most dangerous parts of Afghanistan. His unit suffered casualties, including one time a fellow soldier stepped on an IED.
There was 3 amputations, three traumatic brain injuries. I was maybe 10, 15 yards back.
My son's incredibly brave. He believes that you should do the things you're supposed to do.
After coming home from the war, Bajan moved to the Pacific Northwest. He felt he'd done his duty. Like many veterans, he said he wanted to find some peace.
I bought the land and it's beautiful. There's tons of trees. Like, I've seen wolves on it. There's been moose. There's been bears. You know, like, it's quiet.
But a few years later in 2021, when Kabul fell to the Taliban, Bajan felt compelled to serve again, this time out of uniform, volunteering to help dozens of America's Afghan allies come to the United States.
Every single person here, except for the people who are indigenous to the Americas, is an immigrant or comes from immigrants. It's absolutely ludicrous to think that we can get away with not bringing people in, especially people who we told, hey, if you help us, we'll help you.
5 weeks before his arrest, Bajan saw a Facebook post from the former president of the Spokane City Council. 2 men with pending asylum applications had been detained at a routine ICE check-in and were going to be transported for deportation. I am going to sit in front of the bus, he wrote. Feel free to join me.
Happened to be scrolling through and saw it pop up, and I was like, oh, well, I have time. I'll swing by and see what's going on. I'm pretty upset about how this country is treating immigrants. The people they rolled up were legal asylum seekers. They've been doing everything right. There was no reason for them to be detained.
The protest was, for the most part, peaceful, but at times it turned contentious. Bajan can be seen in this video briefly tangling with masked federal agents. One ICE agent pushes Bajan in the back, knocking Bajan into another, who grabs him. Bajan and the agent shove each other and then disengage. Then demonstrators back up and link arms to try to block the gate to stop ICE from taking the asylum seekers away. Dozens of people were arrested, but Bajan wasn't among them. Richard Barker, the acting U.S. attorney for Eastern Washington State, had monitored the protests from his office on the other side of the Spokane River.
I went to bed that evening feeling like the situation could have been a lot worse than how it ended up.
Barker had worked for the DOJ for 11 years and focused on prosecuting drug smugglers and murderers. But the day after the Spokane protest, the Justice Department sent him and the 92 other U.S. attorneys nationwide a memo that demanded they prioritize prosecutions of ICE protesters. So Barker authorized an investigation. His staff started preparing a conspiracy indictment against Bajan Mavawala and 8 others, something Barker knew he couldn't support.
Nobody was really hurt. None of the protesters were hurt. Fortunately, none of the law enforcement officers were hurt either.
He was aware that other U.S. attorneys had been ousted for refusing to comply with Trump Justice Department.
Basically, nothing happened, but they're still being charged.
Orders, and he worried about his ability to act ethically if he stayed on the job, so he resigned.
I didn't feel in this case that a conspiracy charge that would carry a 6-year term of incarceration was true to who I was or who I wanted to be as a federal prosecutor.
2 days after Barker quit, his successor signed the indictment, charging Bajan and the others with conspiracy to impede or injure a federal officer, the first time conspiracy charges had been brought against ICE protesters. In a statement to the NewsHour, the DOJ said it respects the First Amendment and the right of Americans to peacefully protest, but will never tolerate the obstruction of lawful immigration operations or putting federal agents in harm's way.
Should we go in?
The day he was arrested, Bajan was getting ready to move into a new house. He and his girlfriend Kate bought it with a VA mortgage.
This is the service uniform. I was in 9 years.
Kate's also an Afghanistan war veteran. She deployed as a medic.
We're not weak people. We are willing to fight for what is right, which is, I mean, it's a First Amendment issue.
Bajan agrees and is standing his ground. They say that you were part of a felony conspiracy to impede or assault a federal officer.
Conspiracy requires people communicating and act like planning it out and like saying, yeah, we're going to do this and this is why we're going to do it and this is how we're going to do it. None of that happened. At least not as far as I know. I wasn't part of any of it.
Since Bajan's arrest in July, the use of federal conspiracy charges has spread. Prosecutors have filed them against demonstrators in Chicago and also investigated Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey for the same crime.
What these people are doing to my son and that they're doing all across the country is unconscionable, and people need to know about it.
How y'all doing today?
Inspired by Bajan's arrest and concerned about what he sees as the misuse of government authority, his father announced in January that he was running for Congress, challenging Spokane's Republican incumbent. It was a day after federal agents fatally shot Renee Good in Minneapolis, and he stopped by a demonstration in Spokane.
This is me and my son in Afghanistan. He was
This is clearly just to get people to comply and not protest at all.
arrested by the FBI. It's unconscionable and it's un-American.
The shock of Renee Good's killing also inspired former acting U.S. Attorney Richard Barker to speak out about what he sees as the government's hypocrisy. This is his first on-camera interview since resigning.
In one instance, really nobody was hurt, and the protesters were charged. In another instance, somebody's life was taken, and DOJ wants to give that person immunity.
These are things that are supposed to be fundamentally American. These are the things that when I joined the military, I thought I was joining to protect. You have a right as an American to voice your opinion. You can't do it violently. You can't do it in a way that harms other people. But you have a right to stand up for what you believe in.
Oh, you got it.
Bajan's jury trial is scheduled for May 18th. For PBS NewsHour, I'm Aaron Glantz in Spokane, Washington.
Support journalism you trust.
It's a giant chilling effect, right?
Donate now, or even better, start a monthly.
I'm sure he will win, but a lot of people, it'll have a chilling effect. Just people being charged, just people going to court, just people being arrested, just people, just a cop saying, "Hey, we can do this." I'm sure you saw the story. We did this before. We can charge you. We can do this. We can turn your life upside down. You know what I mean? You want to miss work. You want to pay for a lawyer. You want to defend yourself. You want to have to show up to court. You want to potentially have this on your record. You want to be in the newspaper. Just that's enough, right? Just the threat of all of that is enough to have a chilling effect, which is what they want, right? Yeah. That's the point, I think. if you saw me on my show and you came to the show and you watched the show and there was some donations, some likes, some shares, some commenters, blah, blah, blah. Some people donated, did this, bought subs, whatever. Then you left my show and I showed up in your fucking inbox. We're not friends. We're not, we're not close. We're not acquaintances. We don't see each other. You watch my show occasionally, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. I show up in your fucking inbox telling you how bad everything is, how I need money today, how I know that you can afford it. You should send me money. You say I can't pay my bills. I say, well, even $5 would help. You say, look, I don't have money for food. I only get $28 a month of food stamps. And I say, you must be lying to me about how much money you really have then. This back and forth where I'm literally in your inbox begging for money. Would you call that marketing? If I was in your inbox begging you for money, and then when you say no, saying horrible things about you, I guess you're not a true fan, that get it, that's why, blah, 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 you never really liked me, you're not a patriot, you're not this, not that. Would you call that marketing? Would marketing be a word you would use to describe that action? Marketing. Because that's how some people apparently describe it.
The fact that I have to try to shake the tree and wake people up by sending private messages is just another form of marketing at this point. The fact that I have to try to shake the tree and wake people.
He's talking about his people not donating, even though he's basically being evicted and can't afford his power bill and his internet bill and blah, blah, blah. He's like, the fact that I have to send messages and shake the tree to alert people to my situation and beg them to send me money so I don't starve or this, that, and the other, right, is just another form of marketing at this point. What?
The fact that I have to try to shake the tree and wake people up by sending private messages is just another form of marketing at this point.
Another form of marketing.
The fact that I have to try to shake the tree and wake people up.
I'm sure there's other clips that we haven't seen. We'll see. Let's go to the page. It's just another form of marketing. Shit, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. We'll just watch it in the...
Prepared for you tonight. So... let me move on to the other stuff that I've prepared for you tonight. I didn't mean to get into a rant, but that's what...
Oh, by the way, the person that said, whatever it was, Eskimo, anime or whatever that Japanese word that was in his chat where he's like, that person's Japanese. That could be a satanic incantation. I need to ban that person. It's a bot. They put it in my thing at Zeko Anime. They put it in my chat overnight last night on Rumble, and it said listen live on iTunes. So it's a musician or some shit.
Stuff that I've prepared for you tonight. I didn't mean to get into a rant, but that's what happens when somebody triggers my emotions here.
Somebody triggered his emotions? How many people believe Bert's cybersecurity? I believe the problem is the investment scam, which has absolutely nothing to do with Q, is actually laughable that Bert thinks anyone would believe his hogwash. Is this him complaining about Brad and Phil?
They don't have a case. They just hate me. They don't.
Oh, no, it's his investment scam. Okay.
They hate me because I turned my back on the Q movement. They hate me because I wouldn't let my investors make me go in a direction I didn't want to go in. No, I'm not covering those stories. I'm not doing that. Well, then we're cutting you off, and I'm going to make sure that you fail. I'm going to tell everybody in the industry that you're this and that and the other thing. And she did. And And the other podcasters, the cowardly little sons of bitches, all fell for it. And not one of them ever contacted me to get my side of it. Not one. The only people that know my side of it are you guys watching the show right now.
That's it.
So we've talked about it now, and I still haven't seen anything come through. It'd be very nice if somebody could decide to...
we've been sitting here talking. I haven't received a single donation on my phone. I'm sitting here waiting for the alert to go off. Why has nobody? It'd be very nice if somebody just sent some money.
Make a donation using Zelle or PayPal. All you need is bert@bertlynch.com. The other way that you can help, which doesn't cost you a thing, is just hit the follow button. The algorithm will change, and we'll get extra amount of people seeing this show, depending on how many people are following. We've got... They don't have a case. They...
Prison. That has a nice ring to it.
Legend of Pretzelda just resubscribed for 41
God.
months. Hi, Bert.
Bort hates when you guys donate while he's begging his followers to donate. When he watches the replay of the show, he watches every show. The only nut job I see Bort is you. Look in the mirror. The success of 2 podcaster MLMs is driving you crazy. Oh, okay. Now we got one about Brad and Phil. Thank you very much for your subscription, Legend.
Like he likes to exaggerate. Like when he said he was going to make sure that I go to prison. That I go to prison.
He's talking about...
That's what he said.
Phildo.
About 2 years ago. And I challenged him. Sit down with me, bro. Come on my show. I'll come on your show. We'll sit down together. Debate me. Let's see what you really know about my situation, because you don't know jack shit.
Master debate me.
All you know is what you've been told by a nut job. I back that. He likes to exaggerate. Like
he goes on to talk about Phil being a pedo or whatever. I backed him, and he can't even tell the court case right. Where are all the thumbs up? Good point. Tommy Two-Tone. Interesting fact, there were 77 people not 77 thumbs up. Most people aren't hitting the thumbs up because you are harassing and mocking your viewers, Bort.
Tommy Two-Tone says, I show 77 people. Where are all the thumbs up? You know, I was happy to see that there were more thumbs up than thumbs down tonight, but I haven't refreshed. Let's refresh and see where it went. Okay, so we're back to 23 thumbs down and 13 thumbs up. 77 people, and there's only about... Somebody want to count and see how many people are in the chat room? I'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... We got about 9 people in the chat room. So out of the 9 people in the chat room, let's just assume all the people in the chat room hit the thumbs up. We got 3 more people out of 77 that hit the thumbs up, which means that they're not hitting thumbs up or thumbs down. They're just not doing anything.
Oh, okay.
Like the lady,
they're not real viewers.
What's your show, but why should I be required to make a donation to you?
Well, if you go to church every Sunday, doesn't the preacher pass the plate and expect every...
He's making fun of someone saying, I watch your show, but why should I donate? You don't have to at all, right? If you like it, if you want it to keep going, if you want to help support, this is me speaking. If you want to help support the show, that's how I pay my rent here at the office. I can't do this in the camper. So that's how I pay the rent here. And eventually, if there's no money coming in, if nobody donates, then the show's going to be shut down. And maybe you could care less, right? You just watch a different show. But if you want the show to continue, donate and help us continue the show. If you don't, no big deal. But Bert makes fun of people that ask that question. Well, why should I have to donate?
So out of the 9 people in the chat room, let's just assume all the people in the chat room hit the thumbs up. We got 3 more people out of 77 that hit the thumbs up, which means that they're not hitting thumbs up or thumbs down. They're just not doing anything. Like the lady who says, well, I watch your show, but why should I be required to make a donation to you? Well, if you go to church every Sunday, doesn't the preacher pass the plate and expect everybody to put something in it? I'm not preaching to you. I'm not trying to.
But do you think the preacher would ever stand up there and say, look, you guys come here and get this free message every Sunday, and it's about time you took care of old preacher guy, okay? And then hop in your private messages and say, hey, preacher man needs to do a little gambling.
Win your soul. I'm just trying to give you some decent news.
Sweet,
from a conservative point of view.
The next video is the marketing one we already watched.
For me very well. For some reason, it hadn't paid off for me very well. So, folks, if you can help, use Zelle or PayPal tonight. And all you need is bert@bertlynch.com. If you use Zelle or PayPal, just bert@bertlynch.com. It'd be nice if I could raise $100 tonight. But at the rate you guys are going, it's going to take me 2 weeks to get to $100 at $10 a pop. Come on, y'all. I know you can do better. And I shouldn't have to beg this hard. I mean, I'm working my tail off. Everybody I know's told me to quit. And for some reason, it hadn't paid off for me very well.
Yeah, because it's not working. It's not viable. Go get a job. Very important Intel guy. Come on now. That's a big whopper fib. Oh, he's got an Intel. I heard he had 2 different Intel guys now. That's what I heard.
Who called last week, I guess it was, when I told you guys about my friend, my Intel guy, who called me up and reminded me about the petrodollar. And I knew about this stuff, but I had not put the two together. And he went and watched the show. He says, you did a good job referring to what I told you, but you left a part out. And he said, remember what I told you about Venezuela? And I went, yes, I do, but you were talking so fast I forgot to write that part down. It's because he just starts going, and I have to just write it. He won't let me record the conversation, otherwise I would do that. But I don't record conversations of my friends and stuff unless they give me permission. He's a very important person, and he can't be known as somebody who is letting me know this stuff, because it could affect his position in his work. So what he said was that Henry Kissinger, I'm just trying to read my notes and get this out correctly. Henry Kissinger, through the Rockefellers during the Nixon administration,
oh, good Lord,
set up this arrangement with the Middle East with our petrodollars. And he said, you sell us your oil, or you sell your oil to the rest of the world only through the American dollar, and we will place military bases all throughout the Middle East to protect you from anybody that would ever bother you. And we'll be your protector, but you use our dollar, and so our dollar is the currency that everybody has to use. So it'd be the world reserve currency. Last week, I guess it was.
I can't do Borton history. It's never right. It seems like Bort is never satisfied. If you talk too much in his chat room, you are dominating the chat. If you come in, tell everyone hi, and tell Bert and Shadow hi, he still isn't happy. Whatever you do, don't ask a question. He will kick you into next week.
I don't know why I even mention his killer. Tommy says, I feel like I'm the only one chatting here tonight. Bert, great advice. Tommy, I don't know what it is with the chat room in here anymore. I don't know why I even bother to kick people out anymore when the rest of the group just comes in and says hello to me and Shadow and each other, and then they never say nothing else. The last person besides you and Steindog to say anything was Kathy when she said, oh my gosh, Shadow, that's so cute. And that had to be an hour ago. I don't know, you guys. I can't figure it out, but I want the people to be wrong that keep telling me I'm wasting my time here. I want them to be wrong.
They're not.
Can y'all hear that over there? They make that little breezeway between my apartment and theirs, their outdoor living room. Mention is killer.
He's so mad. He's got black neighbors, and he hates them, dude. He says some horrible shit about them, but he hates that they make noise. You're in an apartment. Expect to hear noises. Holy shit. Not one word was ever said to his doctor, and yes, the surgery is performed by a robot. Who you think operated the robot, you big dummy? Okay, let's see.
Doctor to all the celebrities in town. So, by my ear, nose, and throat doctor, who's the same ear, nose, and throat doctor to all the celebrities in town, including celebrities all over the country. He's a doc for celebs. Bob Seger is one of his patients. And he told me that's the best. He's the best. I don't want you to go to anybody but him.
Hey, Bort, I got something for you.
The power of Christ compels you to
give
Little Bert a little kiss.
With a large donation from one Mr. Q Idiot. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Bort made me do it. Was literally, I swear to God, the notification in this that says, leave a message for Will. I don't want to show anything on the screen. It says, Bort made me do it. You guys see that? Bort made me do it. Take that, Bort. Bort made me do it. Damn it, Bort. I hate how when you click play, it opens a new window, and then you have to redo it every time on Facebook. It sucks.
By my ear, nose, and throat doctor, who's the same ear, nose, and throat
He actually begged me. Thank you,
all the
Q.
celebrities in town, including celebrities all over the country.
And 100 bits. And Bort got K-Sonic to send 100 bits. 100 Borts, if you will. I'm going to change the name of them. Thank you for the 100 Borts. I appreciate it.
He's a doc for celebs. Bob Seger is one of his patients. And he told me that's the best. He's the best. I don't want you to go to anybody but him. And he was right. The surgery was a success. I'm 5 years cancer-free. So my ear, nose, and throat doctor was right. But I told my surgeon, I said, I'll be quite honest with you. If this whole vaccine...
Yeah, well, actually, don't worry, K-Sonic. Any donations that get sent to me by way of proxy actually support Bort in his efforts. Not like financially and not physically and not emotionally and not even so much support as it is rebuking, but they always funnel back to Bort. Don't worry about it.
The nation thing and all that had been approached the way you're approaching me with it now. Before my surgery, I wouldn't have never let you cut into me. I said, because you don't know what you're a doctor and you do not know what you're talking about. I said, these masks aren't doing nothing. And because I'd never seen him without a mask on. And they were always fussing at me when I'd go in there for not wearing my mask. And I said, what for? You've got a mask on. You're fine.
Yay! Thank you for the sound alert. I appreciate that. All right, chat. Let's learn something. Here we go. Chort for Bort. Let's say, what do we want to say? I don't know. I'm making this up on the fly. Let's say I have a Nets. And this net's a basketball. Will not fit through this net. A basketball will not fit through this neck. I was thinking about Charlie Kirk. Damn. A basketball will not fit through this net. A volleyball will not fit through this net. But the holes in the net are almost exactly the size of a baseball. So a softball wouldn't fit through this net, but a baseball will. It's almost exactly the size. Now, in this net, let's say I throw 1,000. Let's say, fuck it. Let's say I throw 1,000,000 baseballs at this net. And we know that an individual baseball will absolutely fit through one of these squares. The square is the exact same size as the baseball for the net. Okay? How many baseballs, if I use a random pitching machine or a random pitcher, how many baseballs would we expect to go through that net? 1,000,000? I'm throwing 1,000,000. How many do you think will go through that net? A lot less than 1,000,000. Not 1,000,000. A lot less than 1,000,000. Why? Because, there's going to be some baseballs, just like this one, that perfectly fit through the hole. There's going to be some that hit here. There's going to be some that hit here. There's going to be some that hit here. There's going to be some that hit here or an upright or, off-centered or over here. They're not going to go through. Were masks, we hear this argument all the time. Well, masks didn't even stop the fucking germ or this, that, the other, whatever. Is this net perfect? Will this net stop 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000 balls? No. Is this better than no nets? Factually, yes. No net, 1,000,000 baseballs would be thrown and 1,000,000 baseballs would proceed through. With a net, even though baseballs can get through the net, it's not impossible. There's still going to be less than 1,000,000 baseballs because some of them are not. A bunch of them are not, unless they're fired perfectly. The masks cut down on transmission, right? They cut down on what they catch. Not all of it. They're not going to catch everyone. But if you're wearing a mask and I'm wearing a mask, and let's say they catch 70% of the shit that comes out of your fucking mouth, you catch 70% over here, and I catch 70% over here, we've cut our chances way the fuck down. Compared to 0. Right? No mask catches 0% of the shit that comes out of your fucking mouth, whether it's spit or germs or whatever. Viruses. If masks don't work, why does the entire rest of the world wear them during flu season and do better than we do during flu season? Do they have 100% success rate? Absolutely not. Is it better? Do they have a better than 0% success rate? Yeah, a lot better. Fucking idiots, dude. Fucking idiots. It's like if me and you had to go fishing for our food and I brought a fucking net and you said, oh my God, that net, the squares are 1 inch by 1 inch. Some of the fish are going to be too small and they're going to swim through the net. I'm like, chill, we'll still catch the fish. You're like, no. What about the really fucking tiny fish? And I'm like, we'll still catch the bigger fish and some tiny fish will get stuck. No, you don't understand what I'm saying. Fish swim. And that net will not catch every fish in the world. Fuck off. I'm not trying to catch every fish in the world.
Everybody else is wearing a mask. I don't need to wear it. You're good. And he says, I did all this work to save your life and you're going to die of COVID. I said, I got news for you. I'm not going to die of COVID and I'm not going to die of cancer. I said, you did a good job and God's got it from here. Don't worry about me no more. I quit going to him. I haven't been in for cancer.
He refused to take any of his chemo, radiation, any of that. So God knows what fuck. He's going to say, I've been cancer-free for 5 years, but I haven't been for a cancer screening in 5 years. So who the fuck knows, really?
Checkup in 4 years.
Okay.
Not going back.
So I've been cancer-free for 5 years, but I haven't been to a cancer screening for 4 years. Okay. So have you?
Because he was done.
Have you? I mean, it's the end of his life. Maybe that's what he wants to choose, right? He's older. Maybe he doesn't want to go through chemo. It's fine. But that doesn't mean that you've been cancer-free for 5 years if you haven't been checked for cancer in 4 years, right? I could just say, well, I've been cancer free on my deathbed at 95 years old. Say I've been cancer free for 95 years. Well, have I? What did I die of?
In that respect. And they used a robot, by the way, to do my surgery. My surgery was done by a robot. All my doctor did was stand there and
a doctor's an idiot because the robot did it. Is that how surgery through a robot works? Of course not.
Make sure the robot did his job. And I had to go in twice with 2 different surgeries, a 12-hour surgery and a 9-hour surgery in one 18-hour period. And when you say never vax and never masked, the only thing I did have to do is I had to take the COVID test to prove I didn't have COVID before they would do my surgery. So the day of my surgery, they stuck that COVID thing up my nose. And I have had the sniffles ever since. For 5 years, I've had the sniffles. You guys see me all the time. And it's because of that. They did that COVID test did something to my sinuses because I never had this before.
Oh, the COVID test gave him
and at
sinuses.
the time, I was so grateful to be alive that God let me live.
12 plus 9 is always 18.
Live through it.
And you guys wonder why Bort can't pay his bills.
I didn't raise hell about it, but now I'm thinking about going back to my ear, nose, throat doctor and say, you know what? I think I got permanent damage because of that. And maybe I'm going to look into filing some paperwork on that crap. So by my ear, nose, and throat doctor, who's the same ear, nose, and throat doctor to all the celebrities in town.
Fucking idiot, dude.
Anyway.
God damn it, Facebook. Stop that.
Anyway, we've been on here for 2 hours, more than 2 hours tonight. So I know I missed the weekend. I was busy trying to earn money. I did a couple of jobs, and one of them wrote me a check that bounced.
Right. And if, let's say, you had cat allergies, but they're like a low-level cat allergies. Well, when you were out, let's say you've been around cats before. At some point, he was out and about and worked a job and left his house. Now he's in his house all day long, every day, with the fucking cat, with the cat dander. Of course, it's just going to be worse, right? It's going to build up.
And I'm still trying to get that fixed. But I'm out trying to make a living so that I can keep my bills paid. And I keep asking you guys to send a donation. But this is another night that no one has during the show, 2 hours, and nobody's bothered to take.
I'm trying to get the Burt Lynch fan page to change their name to the Bort Lunch fan page.
5 minutes and send $5.
Bort Lunch.
Come on. Are you guys trying to get me to just quit? That's what it seems like. So if you can, make a donation tonight, please. Use Burt at BurtLynch.com through Zelle or PayPal. I'm sorry, but those are the only 2 means I have. Right now, my website isn't rebuilt, and at this rate, at this amount of income, I don't know when I'll be able to afford to get it back up and running again. So if it's meant to be, I suppose you guys will reach out and help. I appreciate all of you, and we'll do this again tomorrow, God willing. Anyway, we've been on here for 2 hours, more than 2 hours tonight. Brad has it and shame Brad and Phil. Dude, they are
jealousy.
They are filthy rich. Brad has made.
That is true. They're both multimillionaires.
Phil has made more than $20 million.
Brad, okay, let's be honest. Brad was wealthy before QAnon, right? Wealthy from MLMs. He had a ton of people in his downline. He's worked his way to the top of 2 different MLMs. He left being a school teacher, bought his own house, a $1.2 million home when he bought it years ago, with a basketball court with his name inlaid in it and half court and shit. Like, made a ton of money, right? But he's made a lot more since QAnon. Phil was not. Phil was part-time Subway sandwich artist, part-time fucking real estate agent, part-time bouncing checks and going to prison. You know, Phil was broke. And has become a multimillionaire.
So far, off of this AI thing that they're doing. That's what he said on his show anyway. You never know with him. He likes to exaggerate.
Get it. Snatch it up.
Like when he said he was going to make sure that I go to prison. That I go to prison. That's what he said about 2 years ago. And I challenged him.
You got it, you idiot.
Sit down with me, bro. Come on my show. I'll come on your show. We'll sit down together. Debate me. Let's see what you really know about my situation, because you don't know jack shit. All you know is what you've been told by a nut job. I backed that dude. I supported him for years when everybody was saying, he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile. And I said, according to everything I have seen, he was not convicted of pedophilia.
No, he's going to get the case wrong again here. He always does. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but go ahead.
And then it turns out, after 2 years of him suing other people, that indeed he was. And while everybody else was accusing him of it, I said, folks, you can't accuse somebody of something they haven't been convicted of. He wasn't convicted of that. But he finally had to sign a plea agreement saying that he had inappropriate.
Finally had to sign a plea agreement. You mean the plea agreement that he signed back in 2010? Is that what we're talking about? The plea agreement he signed with the original case? Bort makes it sound like he recently signed a plea agreement because he sued the Scranton Times. No.
Behavior with a minor. And the truth is he was sexting her for a long time.
That's also not true, right? They physically met up, they hung out, they did the thing, and sexting. I don't know how he doesn't understand the case still. As many people has covered it, he's watched every one of my shows. He still doesn't understand the case.
She was 15. But his audience doesn't care. Whatever MLM he pushes their way, they sign up for it. And he's got 100,000 people watching his podcast on Rumble. Well, I've got 100 people watching mine. Never convicted of a thing. Nothing. Everybody's accusing me of all kinds of stuff. Take me to court.
Someone taking you to court personally wouldn't be a conviction either way.
Take me to court. Let a judge decide who's telling the truth. But they won't do it because they know they don't have a case. They just hate me. And shame on Brad and Phil. Dude.
Damn. Guy's fucking insane, dude.
Podcast to serve. Who's the man that quit his podcast to serve his country? Dan Bongino. Who's the man that quit that job in 292 days? Dan Bongino. Who's the man that went on Fox News and complained he missed his wife because he had to go into an office? Dan Bongino.
I stare at these four walls all day and I gave up.
Who took one look into the Epstein files and said, nothing to see here, folks? Dan Bongino. Who was forced into retirement after 2 civilian deaths in Minneapolis? Greg Bovino. I used to want to be at the RNC. I used to want to be like Dan Bongino. But these days I only want to be like the great one. Oh, Danny DeVito.
Wow, that took a turn.
Danny DeVito. We call out from the darkness for light. Danny DeVito. Come wrap us in your arms. Spread out your wings and take flight. I wanna be like Danny DeVito. I wanna meet the cast of Taxi. I wanna scream for Jumanji 3. I wanna be like Danny DeVito. I wanna be like Danny D. I wanna be like Danny DeVito. I wanna be like Danny D. I wanna be like Danny DeVito.
People are so thoughtful. Oh, he's stealing copper from somebody's house. I get it. I was like, why is he under somebody's house? That's pretty funny.
Who's the man that quit his podcast?
That's pretty funny. That is Nick. Let's go. Nick, let's go. Thank you very much. That's it, guys. I'm wrapping it up. It's after 1 a.m. here. It's almost 2 a.m. I got shit to do tomorrow. I'll try to be on time again tomorrow. Sorry. I'm shitty. Need to get the podcast back on schedule. We'll see. Support the stream. It's got to pay for itself. I can't lose money on it, especially now that I'm looking for a house. It's got to be a net positive, not an expense. So support the show if you can. You can use that Just Quick Tools link where you can make a donation if you want to. I greatly appreciate that. It's got all the links that like Jay Hyatt just shared, the Buy Me a Coffee, the dono clip, whatever you want to leave. Just leave a message so I know who to thank. I like to thank people when I'm live on air. So I'll thank you. If you donate while we're off air, I'll thank you on the next show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me bitch for a while. I'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. I gotta go home and punish Mariah or whatever she said in chat earlier. I'll take a pounding for the team, guys.
Call out the people
Yeah, okay.
on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
Oh, yeah, you idiot. Get after him. Don't let up now.
You better buckle up.
Bitching about you at Tuco and your search history. Ask Tuco.
Myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16.
Boom, boom, boom. That's the sound of Texas knocking, motherfuckers.
ABO and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What?
That's right, you idiot.
What are you doing? Stop. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously.
Good night, guys.
This is bombs and alcohol.